Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In this video I am super pumped to announce that this channel has been sponsored by Steinjager and Ace Engineering. So I reached out to Steinjager and I said, hey, I'm looking to get some rock sliders on my JK, what do you have? And I did tell them about my channel and they took a look at it and they said, we like what you're doing, we'd like to sponsor you going forward. So they did send me out some rock sliders. These are the Phantom series rock sliders. So it's two pieces. This is the main piece, the main rock slider portion of it. And then you do have this insert piece as well, which will sit inside of this piece, and those will get all bolted in. So I already have the passenger side installed. I'll go ahead and swing you guys around to that side and show it to you. So this is the passenger side already installed. So there's a couple reasons why I like this kit. Is it sits high up on the body panel. It comes right below the door line, which I wanted. The other thing that was a huge draw to me is these are frame mounted. And they mount to 3 body bolts. So the one up front and then the 2 back here. There are kits that look very similar to this, however they only have like 2 mounting points, one in the very back, one in the very front. To be the strongest it can be, you really want one that mounts to all 3 body bolts. Now they do sell a kit just like this for the 2-door JKs, which obviously the 2-door JKs only have the 2 body bolts, so those are going to mount to those on the 2 doors. So Steinjager's a company that's been around for 10 years. I believe they got their start in 2013, and they actually just recently acquired Ace Engineering as well. So I've used Steinjager parts before in the past on my Jeep TJ, which is obviously I've sold that a couple of years back now. But I've always been super happy with their parts, and honestly the biggest thing that I'm impressed with on these new rock sliders is the powder coating. The powder coating is just top notch. I did weigh these rock sliders. They are 35 pounds a piece. So obviously both sides total are going to be about 70 pounds added to your Jeep. But all this weight is relatively down low, and honestly, you want something beefy to protect your side of your Jeep. You are going to need a couple tools to get this job knocked out. It's not a hard job, and honestly, you're probably going to have a harder time getting your old rock sliders off than getting these new ones on. I've already removed the rock sliders on this side, and obviously the other side's already done. So your stock rock sliders, I believe there's 6 or 9 bolts that had to come out, and they're body mounted, so there's nothing that's really mounted to the frame. It's just if you have an older Jeep, you may run into rust issues trying to get some of those bolts out. So some of the tools that you're going to need either an 11mm or 7/16. You're going to need a 16mm or a 5/8, and then also an 18mm or a 3/4. You can use really either one, whichever one's going to fit best. You're going to need an Allen key. You're going to need either a breaker bar or, a drill. I would recommend the breaker bar to get your initial bolts off, your initial body bolts, just because you don't want to throw an impact on there and just like twist your bolts right off. Like I said, this install is going to be relatively easy once you get your initial rock sliders off, or maybe your Jeep didn't even come with rock sliders. The sport models typically don't. You are going to locate your 3 body bolts. So here, here, and then you got another one back here, and we need to work on getting all 3 of those off. I already worked on breaking all these loose with a breaker bar prior to doing this, so mine are coming out relatively easy. So one problem that you guys might run into when you're taking these initial body bolts off, I think on some of them there's like a clip somewhere up inside. So when you get to a certain point where they're just spinning, they may not drop out. You may have to take like a pry bar or something once you get it to the point where it's just continuously spinning, and just kind of pull down on it, which will pop that clip loose that's on the inside, and then they'll fall right out. I've already popped mine loose, so I should be able to just unscrew these. Yeah, there it goes. One down, 2 more to go. All right, so now that we got all 3 body bolts out, the Jeep is ready to go. Now we just need to install that plate that goes on the rock slider, and then we can get it on the Jeep. So you can install this plate while you have the rock slider on the Jeep itself. However, it is a lot more cumbersome just getting your fingers behind there when it's already installed. So the better way to do it is just install it before you get it on the Jeep. Basically what you're gonna do is take this plate here, set it on here, line your holes up. Once you get your holes lined up, you can go ahead and drop your bolts through and then put the nuts on the back side of them. So I'm just getting all these on finger tight for right now, and then we'll tighten them once we get them all on. After we got those nuts on to those bolts on this slider finger tight, we're gonna grab our Allen key and then either your 7/16 or your 11mm. Just go ahead and tighten these down. You don't need to torque these on really tight, they just need to be snug. Alright, so we got 2 done, now we just need to get the remaining ones. So now that we have all the smaller bolts and nuts on the rock slider itself with the panel, you will need to get this installed onto the Jeep now, and for that Steinjager does send you 3 new body bolts that you will utilize, and this you will need the 5/8 or the 16mm, whichever you prefer. So we are going to put a little drop of blue thread locker, it's a little much, on each one of these bolts. We are to the portion where we're going to get this rock slider installed on the 3 body bolts of the Jeep. It does help to have a second person here. I do not have a second set of hands. So what we're going to use is a floor jack to help just kind of hold that side up in place while I'm trying to get the other side screwed in. Let's see if we can get this first side started. So I'm just getting these tight enough right now that that'll hold it in place. Alright, so the rock slider itself is held in place under its own weight on those 3 body bolts that I did put in. They're just finger tight right now. Now we just need to get another tool on there and just snug those up. Before I snug that one up too much, let's hit the other 2, make sure they're threading in evenly. Alright guys, we have all 3 of the body bolts tightened down, and that's pretty much going to wrap up this install. You can get these rock sliders in multiple different colors. That's one of the things that Steinjager prides himself in. You can get these in hot pink, crazy purple, yellow, green. I just went with the simple black, polished black, just because, you know, my Jeep is two-tone black in that anvil color. So I thought it was going to look the best. yeah, I'm super excited to try these rock sliders out. We are going to try to test them out in the next couple weeks. We're going to be hitting up Drummond Island, I think, in a couple weeks, so we'll try to get out to Turtle Ridge and test them out there. Also, I did want to let you guys know that I am going to be starting an Amazon affiliates links, and anything that's in the videos that I think you guys will be interested in buying, I'll try to link them in the description below. All right, so that's going to wrap up this install and this video, and we will catch you guys in the next one.